those of y'all that don't know, I am from Texas, but I'm currently in Berlin, Germany, and I have been here since mid-August, and I will be here until mid-December. And I make travel videos on here, and I also have a personal travel blog where I have advice for specifically women travelers, and if you're interested in that, I'll leave the links down below. Today, I'm gonna talk about some cultural differences that I've noticed while I've been here in Berlin. And
I just want to do a disclaimer that I am from Texas, so it might not be like this around the whole United States of America. This could just be because I'm from a suburb in Texas, or, you know, I'm not a spokesperson for America, but this is just personal cultural differences that I've noticed and the culture shock that I have experienced here. So I'm not speaking for everybody, and it might be different too in Germany, the way things work here in Berlin and in Hamburg or Munich. So yeah, I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there that I am making generalizations, but this is just what my personal experience has been like and the culture shock that I have been through.
So, number one, tampons. Yeah, so this was one of the biggest cultural shocks for me, is that tampons here don't generally have applicators. In Texas and America, we use the tampons with applicators in it, so you don't put it in with your own finger. And here they don't have it with applicators, and I think, and I could be wrong, but the reasoning behind that is just for environmental waste. Here in Germany, people are a lot more environmentally conscious, so you're not gonna find tampons with applicators readily available everywhere. I went to about 5 stores before I found some, and then now I've just learned how to deal without the applicators. But yeah, that was a huge cultural difference for me. Number 2, peeing on the street. So this was really weird for me because people here, if a guy's gotta pee, he's gotta pee, and he does it regardless of where he is. And in America, you could get like seriously charged for that, and you could get like the same punishment, or like you could get the same reputation as somebody as a sexual offender. So nobody in America really pees on the street, and if you do, you are risking getting in trouble. So that was a huge cultural difference to me. It's still a little strange to see people peeing on the street and families walking by, and it's completely normal here. Number 3 is drinking in public. So here, people will buy drinks and walk on the streets with them, and it's not a big deal. And that is definitely not okay in America. That's banned. So it's a little bit strange to see people drinking on the subway or something like that, and they actually, it's kind of weird to me because you're not supposed to drink on the subway, but at the same time they sell alcohol in the subway station. So yeah. So yeah, I remember the first time that I did this, and I felt like I was doing something completely wrong, but it's so normal here. Number 4 is staring. So I know this is a generalization, but I think that people here just stare more often, and it's not a bad thing or anything. It's not in a judgmental way that people are staring. It's just in a curious way, I guess. So yeah, I've noticed that here people will stare, and then I stare back at them, and they just keep staring. In America, I think generally if you stare at somebody and they stare back at you, then you kind of look away. But here, that's not the case. So yeah, staring is a thing here, but I guess it's a thing everywhere. Number 5 is no excuse me. So I'm used to a Southern culture where if you bump into somebody, you immediately apologize. You go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And here, you bump into somebody and there's no excuse me. There's no Entschuldigung. You just bump into them and you keep going. You don't look back. So number 6, so no late night grocery shopping. And this kills me because as a college student in Texas, I would often go grocery shopping really late at night or really early in the morning. And here I don't have that option, so I really have to adjust my schedule for shopping. But yeah, so grocery stores here will open around 8 in the morning and close around 8 at night or even 10 at night. But yeah, they're not open 24/7. And that leads me into number 7, is that there's no shopping on Sundays. So if you want to shop, you got to do it on Saturday or any other day. And that was really hard for me to adjust as well, because back in America, my shopping days were on Sundays, and I feel like a lot of people do their grocery shopping, especially on Sundays, to prepare for the week, and it's just the last minute thing that you do before your heavy week starts. So yeah, here everything is absolutely closed. Germans love their rest day and to really spend time with family, and it's really nice. You don't shop, but you often see the parks and stuff full with families just enjoying each other's company. It's a really nice culture. Number 8, price of cheese. So back in Texas, we just don't really have great cheese. We have like the crappy cheese, and it's pretty moderately priced, but here you get really nice high quality cheese for €1, €2, which if you got that same cheese in America, it would probably run for about €6 to €7. So I was really amazed and impressed by the quality of cheese and the prices here. Number 9 is recycling. And this is totally, I think, contingent on which state you're from. But being from the suburb of Houston, personally in my town, we don't have recycling, and it's not very accessible. Here, everybody pretty much recycles, and everybody here is pretty environmentally conscious and tries to conserve as many things as possible. So that was a huge cultural difference for me, and I really had to mindfully think about what my products were being made out of, which I had never had to do before. So that was a huge cultural shock for me, and yeah. Number 10 is taking shoes off before you walk into a house. So here it is very impolite and it's rude to walk into a house with your shoes on, because that can track in dirt and germs, and it really does make sense, but I don't know why we don't do this back home, but we don't. And so that was a big culture shock for me, and I had to always mindfully remember to take off my shoes because I just wasn't used to it. But now that I am used to it, I think that this is a habit that will follow me back home, and I really don't understand why we don't take our shoes off before we come into the house. Why do you have to wear shoes inside the house? I don't really get it. Number 11 is actually going to parks. So I think that as a whole, there's so many more people that go to parks here and really enjoy parks here. I remember telling people that I was going to a park to eat lunch or whatever, and a response I got was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. And yeah, it's just not as common back home, but I think it's a really nice thing, and I love that Germans love and appreciate nature so much. So yeah, going to parks, especially with your families and stuff, is really common here, and that's not common back home. Number 12 is the nightclub culture. So in Germany, in Berlin especially, you have a lot of techno nightclubs. And y'all, these nightclubs stay open until the next day, like until 2 p.m. the next day. They don't close. Back home, the clubs close around 2 in the morning, and we usually have more hip hop clubs and more modern music clubs. But here, techno clubs are a very big thing, and they don't close until the afternoon, sometimes the next day, which is crazy to me. You could actually, if you want to, wake up and go to the club in the morning if you really wanted to. I've never done it, but I would like to. So if you're in Berlin and you want to go night clubbing in the morning, let me know. 13, public transportation. Y'all. I am from Texas. I'm used to getting in my car and driving to said location. Here, everybody pretty much uses public transportation, and I get why, because literally you can get to any street you want in Berlin by bus, by tram, by train, by subway. Like, you can pick the type of transportation that you want and take that way to get to a street. Back in Texas, we don't have this. There is public transportation in Houston, but it's not very good, so not very many people use it, and it's definitely not a primary way of getting around the city. So yeah, and I think this is really also, it depends on where you live in the United States. People in New York use public transportation in New York City, or if you're living in Seattle or Portland, Oregon, then you might use public transportation. But here it's really common to only use public transportation and to not own a car. And I love this, because first off, you don't have to think about gas, you don't have to get your oil changed, you don't have to pay for insurance, you don't have to worry about car repairs, you don't have to spend time driving. You can just sit there, read a book, get on your phone, and you save so much time. So yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed that little list I compiled for y'all. If I forgot anything, or if you have any extra comments to add, please post them down below.